Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today. Conversations with Moya and Maria. And today our topic is going to be on forgiveness. It's, I guess we're going to kind of wing it here and just talk from our hearts and talk about forgiveness and how it can help you with releasing, actually as part of the healing process to dealing with anger and past issues that you've had. So I'm going to let Moya talk for a minute since she brought up the topic. I'm going to I want to kind of just do some research here on the computer.
So what I wanted to talk about was forgiveness in the sense where we don't forget any wrongdoing that was done, or we deny it, or we no longer acknowledge the wrongdoing, or the choices you've made may have impacted you negatively, have not happened. But what I want to work on and talk about, which I think is a hard part of all our psyche as a culture, is just to forgive. And the reason why we need to forgive is, for me, is a solely selfish reason, is so I can move on and grow and let it go and forgive for my needs and help me mature and be more receptive to positive things in my world and have stronger relationships with the people around me. So for me, forgiveness is not absolving any wrongdoing, but acknowledging that moment in your life that was impacted, looking at it as a learning experience, and forgiving it for being in your life and moving on. The pain is still there. You get a twinge here or there, or maybe it'll be massive some days of the pain, and some days it's not even a blip on your radar. But forgiveness does help, particularly when you have those rough days, to remind you it's okay. And I'm not just talking about when people have done you wrong. I'm talking about when you're sitting sometimes alone and you're doing mundane things, and you're in your car, you're doing your dishes, and you just start thinking. And one thought leads to another thought, and then all of a sudden you remember a choice you made, and you twinge inside, like, why did I do that? Just out of the blue. That is when the moments when I really need to be mindful to forgive myself of the choices I've made in my past, and forgive for the choices that I may have made that morning. And so it's twofold. When you start to forgive the people that have done you wrong or have caused you pain, it allows you the freedom to forgive yourself. Because if you're able to forgive those people you had no control over, then you can forgive yourself for the choices you've made. That's what I wanted to touch basis on. I think we go through the belief eye for an eye, but what we don't realize is that when someone does you wrong or you inflict pain on yourself, then you start leading a story of, well, I've already inflicted the pain, I might as well perpetrate it and keep it going, because one of these days I'm going to be justified for that initial small pain or that initial large pain. But what you don't understand is the ripple effect, and it's a step toward more pain, a road of pain. So if you can stop in the middle of that and acknowledge there's never going to be true justification. You're never going to be justified, and you're never going to be exalted for the wrong or the victimization that happened to you. It's never going to be fully 100% fill your heart and soul with peace. You never will. It's a true fact. But if you can stop and say, I forgive myself, or I forgive that person or that situation, then you allow yourself the freedom to be able to see different paths you can take, or where you are at this time, without it being negatively influenced by the negativity or wrongdoing that had happened to you.
When we were talking about this, the concept of, I think this is how you pronounce it, Ho'oponopono. I'm reading here from the Wikipedia page. It's an ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness, and it's been performed in areas such as the South Pacific, Samoa, Tahiti, and New Zealand. So apparently, it started with it's traditionally practiced by healing priests, and they helped with people who were physically ill. But so now, I guess in modern uses, people use it to work with people who are angry or who are in disputes. And let's see here. Okay, so I'm just kind of browsing here through this. It says here, unlike Hawaiian tradition, problems are only as effects of negative karma, saying that you have to experience by yourself what you have done to others, but that you are the creator of your life circumstances was common knowledge for the people of old as things we had brought with us from other lifetimes. That's kind of going a little bit deeper into that. But I think part of that is I'm trying to look for the phrase that you say in Ho'oponopono. It's something like, I love you, I forgive you, and then you thank that situation or that person for what you experienced, and you just let it go. And it's helped with just the energy of freeing yourself from that from that anger or from that negative energy. I think it's just not, as Moya talked about earlier. It's more about forgiveness. Is more about freeing your heart of that anger and that energy versus actually absolving that other person or that other of what they did. It's more for you, because holding that negativity within yourself holds you back from moving forward in life and moving on, to bigger and better things. In my personal life, I experienced, a lot of sadness, betrayal from, like an ex-boyfriend who definitely betrayed me many, many times. And Moya knows the story.
He's an ex for a reason.
Yeah. But I went through so much with him, and I did have a lot of anger and resentment for what he did. But the moment I released that energy, it just helped me to move on.
Exactly.
Definitely. So, if anything, it's just for you to just release all the anger and resentment. That's what I feel that forgiveness means.
Yeah. Let me put it in a perspective. Imagine it's a beautiful day. The sun is out, 73 degrees. There's no clouds. The wind, you hear the leaves swaying in the wind, and everyone around you is enjoying themselves. And you may smile, or you may be sitting there, and you cannot enjoy the surroundings around you because you are still stuck in the harm and the pain that was inflicted upon you by you or by others, or the pain you inflicted on others. And you are missing the beauty of the day because you have not been able to forgive yourself or forgive others. So it does not absolve the person, and it does not absolve you of the actions you did in your past, but it allows you to breathe and enjoy the moment by forgiving. And that's the key. I mean, collectively as a world, we have a hard time forgiving from within our family, within our neighborhoods, within our communities, within our cities, within our states, within our countries, and outside of our countries. We cannot forgive. And it has inflicted so much pain. And it just perpetuates over, and it's a cycle of over and over and over again. We can't forgive people for not having a higher education or looking at things differently, even though we know that is how they believe. We cannot forgive people for dressing differently than us because we feel that's not right. We cannot forgive people for inflicting pain upon each other. We can't even inflict. A lot of us have a hard time even forgiving our own parents with the pain that they've inflicted. You may have a perfect family, or the family was very good, but everyone has issues with relationships because that's just how we grow and learn. So from the moment we start to breathe, from the moment of our last breath, it would help us if we have been taught or start to learn now and teach our younger generations the concept of forgiveness is not it is not a thing beyond, oh, we're going to church, oh, it's someone needs to be a martyr, or only a really good person can forgive. Forgiveness is solely a selfish thing. I don't understand why people can't understand it. If you can forgive, then you can enjoy life much better. And I know a majority of people would rather enjoy life than be in pain. They just don't know how to get out of it. And one of the key steps is forgiveness.
When you had brought up just forgiveness on a global scale, I thought about, 9/11. The first thing that came to mind was 9/11. And, one of the things that our first reaction, for most people, is that when someone does bad on you, you want to get revenge.
Yes.
So you rage this whole, for the U.S., it's war on terror. So we have to find revenge, and it puts out that energy. And I think we have to really step back and look at the bigger picture and ourselves and see if maybe, we can change that, person by person, or, within ourselves. Because if we can start forgiving each other, just on regular relationships, one-on-one relationships, then hopefully that can manifest into more positive things for, our country, our states, on a bigger, wider, worldwide scale.
Yeah. As for 9/11, I was one of the individuals who felt that we needed to go to war. We needed to fight the enemy. I was, just like a lot of Americans, was very isolated. I had never been out of the country. I knew nothing of Afghanistan. I knew nothing of Iran. Only thing I knew was in the history books of the Arab world, and I had assumed that everyone lived like we did. Everyone had parents, we worked hard, and if you worked hard, then you had chances. And I assumed naively that that was everyone. So for someone to come in here and try to destroy who we were as a people and inflict so much pain, I was like, how evil of them. Now, mind you, these men who did it, they chose to inflict pain. So I'm not absolving them of this. And the people who helped support them helped inflict pain. I'm not absolving the people who supported it. But what I learned when I forgave was it was able to open my eyes and see the pain that was going on in these countries and the pain that historically had been implemented on a lot from Western civilizations. And then I was starting to see how there's not a lot of women's rights. There's not women who are educated, and the importance of educating the people around the world, and how educating and giving a handout with helping them learn how to fish for themselves, as you say, made a huge difference on curbing that type of pain, and how we as a people in America had to learn to have more compassion and not to think that because people were different than us, that they were wrong and they were against us as enemies. At the end of the day, I learned that everybody, majority of people of the world only want to be able to have a family, express who they are, be creative in a positive way, and live their life with freedom. And unfortunately, in every single country in this world, or territory, or province, or state, you have people who want to curb that, and it's just, but that's okay because they're expressing who they are. And so, with forgiveness, you're able to communicate on a deeper level and touch people's spirit on a deeper level because you're able to forgive and move past that mental block. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think we can learn a lot from dogs. Well, they teach us a lot of lessons. I just think of my friend's dog Dooney, and she's such a happy-go-lucky dog. Like, she's never fazed by anything. And if she does something wrong and you scold her, and you do something, dogs, even if you hurt them, they somehow they're the next minute they're fine with that. They'll go back up to you, and you call them and they'll go back up to you and lick you, and it's like they have no memory of what happened there. I don't know, you can't really think of what dogs what their thinking processes are, but you can definitely learn forgiveness from them.
Yeah, we can, and they can, and I think that's why we're so connected to pets and to dogs. And cats are a little more temperamental; they're more my sweet. But I love my dogs too. But my dogs have humbled me with their capacity to forgive and to love. It's just overwhelming, and how loyal they are. And I think that what we need to start doing is we need to start being loyal to who we are, and we would start to forgive what we have done and what others have done to us, and start the loyalty to ourselves. And that, once you take responsibility for your forgiveness, once you take responsibility and say, this is my life and I will let this go, forgiveness is about walking in a new path. Even though whatever has happened to you, you know you are better than that experience. And that is fulfilling your destiny. That is what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is very active. It is stronger than any violence put to you. And it can manifest for years and years after one single forgiveness. So to me, it's much more powerful than an atomic bomb. It's more powerful than countries invading other countries. It's more powerful than airplanes getting into buildings and causing so much pain. Forgiveness is a very grown-up, a very mature, and very scary choice to make. But it can fulfill you so much. That's all I wanted to say.
I think that's I think that was good. I can't think of anything else that I want to add to that.
Okay. So I guess so our topic is forgiveness, and maybe you can give us your thoughts of how you were able to forgive, or how you weren't able to, and what the steps that happened after, and or how you can recommend people to forgive, and just your thoughts on the word forgiveness.
Yeah, so just leave a comment or some feedback below in the comment section, and thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye.